Welcome to our adventures.
So the full point of this trip was really to launch our book. We'd been working on this for 2 years, the veg box, and realistically we've been working on it for 17 years because we've had a veg shop for 17 years. You always feel a little nervous when you're putting it out there for people to kind of judge really and critique. But it's also hugely relieving because it's like, yes, it's like birthing a creative project. And yeah, the whole trip with this is really to celebrate it. So our book came out as part of a publishing tour. We got to go to London. It's one of the most exciting trips because growing up there was this guy Chris Evans that we used to always watch on the telly, and we always really admire. Real funny guy and hilarious, and we were on his show, and I remember we were so nervous to go into the show and to meet him. And we went in, and what joy, what a laugh, what a legend. Finished the interview with Chris Evans. It was so much fun. So Chris is high energy, and we went in like two excited little schoolboys, and we had such a laugh. And brilliant. Check that out, look, there's Westminster. Where are we off to now? So today is publication day, so it's the day the book is officially out, the veg box, and we're off to have lunch with the Penguin team. So Amy, our editor, Karina, probably Annie will be
first
there.
meal of the day.
Yeah, really exciting.
Exciting. Here we go anyway.
One of the most important meals of the day is exercise or movement. So instead of getting a car or the subway across London, we ran. So we did an hour, I think it's an hour walk in like 20 minutes.
This is where we're going for lunch, Timmy Grains.
So I think travelling away like that, it's such fun in that we get me and Dave together and we get to just hang out, and we tend to be, I don't know, when we're travelling like that we tend to have this a lot of energy that we find it hard to just sit down and have a meal in a restaurant. Much prefer to have like our urban picnic, so we tend to almost every meal as an urban picnic. I don't know, maybe it's because we've always had a cafe, not always, but for the last almost 20 years we've had a cafe or a shop, so we've been very much control of our own food, what we're buying, what ingredients went in our food. So often when you're away, I don't know, I don't know, I can often be disappointed in restaurants, whereas when we buy our own food, at least we know the ingredients that went in it. You can kind of vet the people, and it's, I don't know, there's something lovely about sitting down and having a picnic with your bro and having the chats, and I don't know, just, yeah, feels like space. A little momentary bit of pleasure, not momentary pleasure, but a nice little respite from the busy city.
You look really sophisticated when you do that, Steve.
I am very sure.
So we're often asked the question, what's your favourite fruit? Or what's your 3 favourite fruits? And normally I'll go with like fig or mango, things like this. But like when you get a fruit that's in season and it's in its sweet spot, e.g. the British strawberry or the Irish strawberry, when you just taste it, it just like, it is hard to stop eating them. Dave often jokes we're a bit like fruit bats. So we tend to have a lot of fruit, and I don't know, one day we started getting a bit of a rhythm with strawberries, and we ended up having, I don't know, well over 2 kilos, which I don't know, it doesn't sound that much to me really, but
well, they're in season.
sure,
So.
yeah, they're in season, exactly, and they were, you know, delicious. Often when you were in London, because say we don't have family and well, we do have family, but family aren't there, so we often have a lot of open space. So often we joke that it's kind of like finding the breadcrumbs, that we finished our interview with Chris Evans, we were delighted with life. So I gave my friend Tony Riddle a call, who, you know, when someone's been in your mind, and I gave him a call and chatted to Tony, and he spoke about this cool event on that night with Zach Bush, who's a doctor that who'd be a friend and who we've, you know, who always was like, wow, he's from America, cool, Zach's there, must message Zach. So I messaged Zach, and then I heard Elle McPherson, who was someone that we knew growing up. She was at it, and there were other kind of really, like Jasmine Hemsley and other friends were going to be at it, so I was like, wow, I want to go there. So he messaged Galahad, who's the owner of Evo, and he said, yeah, come along. So we came along, and it was such a laugh. You know, when you're meeting like lots of these kind of, there were lots of farmers and wellness. There was only 30 people at it, but it was such joy and fun. And you know, when you're meeting kindred people, it felt like soul food. Yeah, soul food's the best way to describe it. The next day was great fun. You know, maybe it's because, like, again, our families weren't there, so there was you have a lot of open space. And Chris said he runs to work every day, so I was like, cool, can we join you for a run? I'd love to run with you. And he said, well, I leave at like 4:30, and I was like, cool, tell us where. half expecting us that was too early, and I was like, great, okay, we'll see you then. And it was old school. There was no, Chris didn't have a phone, so there was no kind of calling them, so it was like, okay, see you at 4:30 at the corner of, I think it was Baker's and something else. So Tony Riddle ended up staying on the floor of our hotel room. We got up at like whatever 4:30 or 4 something, and we made it there, and we were at the corner there, and up showed Chris and hitting his manager, and we'd such a laugh, just running Chris to work in the silent streets of London, and just having the chats, having the crack. It was really good for the soul. And then when we arrived at Virgin Radio, Chris kind of goes, come on up, we'll have a cup of coffee or water or something. So we came up, and then Chris brings us on air, and we ended up chatting again and just having a laugh on air. And it was great with Tony. Tony was running barefoot, but again, one of those just spontaneous moments that just happen and that kind of nourish your soul. You don't expect them. And after that, we ended up walking back and had a bit of brekkie, and then we met Amy, our publisher. No, we'd go sign books in various different Waterstones, so we went and signed a load of books, and then
okay, so now we're on our way up to, we're doing a cooking demo, 2 cooking demos in this eco village, this really nice place outside London. And like with a book launch, usually there's like, you've got media stuff like radio and TV and newspapers and stuff, like interviews and stuff like that, but cooking demos are they're our sweet spot. We absolutely love it because you're meeting and greeting people. So we got a train with Amy, our editor, and we went up, I think it was an hour outside London, I think it was up north of London. She was kind of our chaperone, so we didn't need to know exactly where we were going.
Market Harbour. You sound like...
And we arrived at this super cool, lovely eco village. Like, it's a place where there's all sorts of different businesses within it, all plant-based, all vegan, really, really fantastic. And we did 2 cooking demos, one at 4:30 and one at 6:30, to really, really nice people. It was good, as we say in Ireland, good crack, which means fun rather than crack the drug. It's C-R-A-I-C, it's an Irish word. And we met loads of people and just had a laugh. It was like, we just love it. It's very fulfilling. And we signed lots of books, and it was a great launch for the book. It really was good fun. And then we got the train back, and we arrived back into London at 10 p.m. And usually me and Steve go to bed at 9 p.m. because we get up at like 5 a.m. and we go to bed typically around 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. But we arrived back into, I think it was King's Cross at 10 p.m. and there was a text from a friend saying that there was a really lovely dinner on with super cool people, with Zach Bush and all sorts of these other people who we really, really love. And they're really kind of plugged into the same thing. And we got a message this was on, so instead of going home to bed, we got a taxi over to Notting Hill and went over to this really nice venue, Pharmacy, where Camilla and her team put on really, really nice food, and we had a fantastic dinner. It was super inspiring, and didn't get home in bed till 1, which is not like us at all. But I guess when you're outside your natural habitat, it's just fun to do different things. And I think that expression, when in Rome, do as the Romans, or something like that. So it was nice for us to not go to bed at 9 o'clock and stay out. I think 4 nights in a row we didn't go to bed till 1 a.m, which was kind of really fun as well, you know, just letting our hair down. There's not many projects that we have where there's a start and an end on it. So writing a book is a wonderful one.
Our lives can be very fluid, where everything kind of blends into one another. So it was a real kind of marking point, this trip, and the kind of release of the book. So thanks for your support.
And thanks for putting up with all the ads. We're promised we're nearly done with them. There'll probably be another few to go. But it's just really nice just to get something out there and actually have closure on it to some degree. We'll obviously
and also the project to try to inspire people to eat more veg and make veg sexy and make them appealing. And my son Theo there is jumping up and down, if you want to see, look there, like he's trying to put us all. You're funny as a loser. Thank you, Theo.
Anyway,
thanks for watching. Lots of love, and come visit someday. Bye.
Thanks a mil for making it to the very end. We are so grateful.
And just in case you're wondering what all this is in the background, I'll tell you soon.
Very
Secret
exciting
coming soon.
project coming soon. Dun dun dun. See ya.